Hi, I'm Nicole Scott for BNetTV.com. Welcome to another episode of Wireless Planet. When you check all the research numbers, we've got the gray market, the boomer market, the money earner market, each full of potential. They buy. But who pushes them to buy? It's the little urchins that are underfoot. They were born with technology in their hands, and they aren't afraid of anything that goes whiz, bang, or bump in the night. They show us how to use the technologies that we buy. Ignore them at your own peril for your hardware, software, or content. Just remember, they're the ones that are buying your products and services for a very long time. Today we're going to take a look at the premillennials and the market underfoot. Now I've got a little quote for you. You could be happy here. I could take care of you. I wouldn't let anybody hurt you. We could grow up together, E.T. That's Elliot from E.T., Extraterrestrial, 1982, just in case you weren't paying attention. Well, I haven't actually cracked the seal on Vista yet. And we've taken a few photos with our cell phone, and they just sit there. We've downloaded a few songs to our smartphone, but we haven't figured out where they are just yet. We simply don't have the time to absorb all the technology we're accumulating because we're just too busy working. On the one hand, a friend bought one of those expensive, complex remote control helicopters for his 3-year-old to play with. Dad fumbled to get it off the ground. Mom watched it skip across the kitchen floor. The kid, bam! The chopper's in the air, flying around the room the minute he takes control. This same friend took his kid's Wii system to visit his parents. He hooked it up to the TV, and 3 generations bowled for 4 hours. So, what does this tell you? Boomers and beyond have the patience of experience to work the technology their way, and that preteens and early teens have no fear of technology. They jump in with both hands and use it their way. Despite the industry's focus on introducing new, better, more useful, more entertaining technology for the sweet spot of the population, the 15 to 44-year-olds, if we look at this emerging market, the premillennials and preteens, by 2011, this group will account for 2.9 billion of the projected population of 6.91 billion. The millennials and tweens have entered the world knowing nothing before the internet and computers. The technologies are natural extensions for them as they fearlessly help boomers enjoy the benefits and influence the buying habits of the family wage earners. So, back when Steve Jobs had more smarts than money, how did he get traction for the Mac? He got into schools where kids worked on them and teachers tried to figure out how to turn them on. The kids went home and begged, pleaded, held their breath until the money makers threw up their hands and bought the system so their kids could succeed in school, get better jobs, and support them when they became boomers. Parents didn't know it then, and they don't know it now. They have absolutely no idea what the technology did, but they knew that buying it shut their kids up. And eventually, these kids taught their parents how to use and enjoy the technology. So, don't waste your time trying to convince adults to buy the next generation product. They have no time to listen. They're too busy writing reports, texting, emailing, creating content. According to Pew Research and NPD Group, this group of premillennials and millennials grasps and accepts technology faster because they've grown up with it. No education required. Or as Elliot said, how do you explain school to a higher intelligence? There's not only a lot of these premillennials, they come pre-wired for computers, smartphones, the internet, and Web 2.0. According to Pew Research, with each new generation, there are new opportunities for companies to drive advanced technology. It's difficult to get the middle market, the 24 to 50-year-olds, to spend their time or effort on upgrading their technology. Young people go online sooner and sooner and implement technology in new and interesting ways. And they come pre-wired to figure out how to get the technology. The NPD report found, to no surprise, that the average kid using consumer electronics dropped from 8.1 years in 2005 to 6.7 years in 2007. No big surprise. Your old man sat you down in front of the TV to shut you up when you were that age. It's logical to put the gotta-have stuff in the hands of kids as quickly as possible. Computers, PMPs, smartphones, the web. And today, it's even good for them. Kinda. Today's teens grew up on the internet. Tweens and younger never knew anything else. These generations are constantly connected. Teens, tweens, and millennials have already moved beyond email to texting, IMing, and written or video blogs. Email for these early adopters is so yesterday. If AT&T and Apple want to guarantee that iPhones and those damn long contracts become an overnight sensation in this seed market, give a couple of thousand units to 6-year-olds and let them show their friends. Let them beg Dad for the connection contract with the wireless world, iTunes, the web, and beyond. And they'll use all of Steve's wonder features because it's second nature to them. They take full advantage of today's technologies, these younger generations, and they don't isolate themselves, but more readily communicate on an instant and continuous basis with their friends and family by calling, emailing, texting, IMing, web surfing, social networking. Really, they do it all. Their use of technology runs counter to social psychologists' early predictions that this technology would isolate people from each other and we lose the ability to communicate, to interrelate. Oh sure, there were a few isolated instances of webby warriors who haven't taken care of bodily function for days on end, or have died on the keyboard, or have taken long walks off a short pier. But for the most part, they have adapted and adopted technology more easily and more readily than adults. They follow E.T.'s example. E.T. phone home. They stay in touch with friends and family in person as well as through IM, calls, emails, and texts. True, the communication has changed because they are also just as likely to stay in touch with photos across the internet and by adding to or reading personal information posted on user-generated content locations like MySpace, Facebook, YouTube, Gleamer, or similar sites. Increasingly, they are adding and streaming video content from the web. Tweens and millennials communicate with more than just words. They love video. According to Ipsos, the visual generation is more likely to create, post, share, and take advantage of streaming video content. It's sort of natural. Every Hollywood house is posting their outtakes to drum up interest in their movies. Advertisers are throwing up made-for-the-web ads for PC and for mobile downloads. TV shows are posting shows for on-the-go viewership. New shows, like On the Lot, are showing on air and online that there's a whole new generation of videographers who can develop a strong storyline and a superbly entertaining 1-minute show. The tools are there. They're inexpensive, video-ready smartphones, cheap camcorders, cheap cameras, easy-to-use video production software, simplified web uploading, and sites that are hungry for content and eyeballs. All of these technologies are driving demand for tomorrow's eager customers. The tweens and younger are ready to assume their role as technology early adopters and trendsetters. They have no fear of the technology. They adopt it without fanfare. And they make devices and technology part of their everyday lives. And they help the older generation use it. While cautious supervision is still important, pre-tweens and tweens, for the most part, seem to accept that there are creep, sleazeballs, and perverts out there. Recent studies by Pew Research seem to indicate that kids who take the internet for granted have a better understanding of how to use and protect themselves than their elders. When they're approached by random persons, they actually find them very easy to identify and easy to block. While the fishers and farmers make their big bucks from experienced adults who can't resist offers from people trying to smuggle huge caches of money out of their war-torn countries, or free stuff, or bank spoofs, or lawyers who just picked them to skim from a will. Even our kids have figured out when something looks too good to be true, it usually is. But they do know good technology when they see it, and they know how to get it. If we don't cough up the money for the next great solutions, they know they can always appeal to Daddy. After all, they're the ones who helped him master Wii golf, Wii tennis, and Wii bowling. And my friend is still trying to get the darned helicopter off the ground. Pre-tweens seem to have a better understanding of how to mold new technologies to work for them, rather than fighting it. Sure, the older generations have the bucks, but they've also got preconditioned ideas of how technology is supposed to work. It's got to be smarter, easier, and cheaper to get customers early in the game before they know better, and encourage them, like E.T. did. Be good. They'll buy more, and they'll be around a lot longer. I hope you have found a new appreciation for premillennials, millennials, and tweens when it comes to shaping the market that is underfoot. I'm your host, Nicole Scott from bnettv.com, and this has been another edition of Wireless Planet.